Hey everybody, welcome to Hit Rewind. This episode we are discussing Ocean's 11. Which one? Both! I'm Michael and that's Mindy.
Ocean's 11 and Ocean's 11.
Which adds up to Ocean's 22.
Can't wait for that one to be made.
You know what? I'm wondering what's going on with that. I've heard rumors that they're going to try to continue because it went backwards for Ocean's 8. And that Danny's going to join and it's going to be Ocean's 9 and 10 to finish it out. So it'd be George Clooney and Sandra Bullock are going to be the leads of the next two. I don't know if it's because some of these people.
I did hear that they were going to merge together or something.
That would be cool.
I don't know.
And I know the first one. Was, a massive phenomenon, and I haven't watched. I have them, but I haven't got around to watching them. In fact, I don't think I've seen this since it came out. But I remember Ocean's 12 getting some really bad feedback, and the third one was way better than 2, but I think they kind of poisoned the well by that point, and 13 wasn't as successful, but it became such a big hit on video, and that's why they said, well, you know what if we lower the budget, we change the cast up, but we keep it in line with what happens in that world, and I haven't seen Ocean's 8 either, but that did fairly well.
I gotta admit that I don't really remember tons of things about the other movies because I saw them all, but I think I've seen Ocean's 11 3-4 times, but I'm not sure I've seen the other ones.
Yeah, well, that launched a franchise of straight up sequels. But if you go back to the 1961, it launched something different. It became like the Rat Pack existed, but the public didn't know about it. It was Humphrey Bogart's group. And then when he passed away, the group continued, and then Frank became basically the chairman. And then the group some of the members fell away because they were mostly close to Humphrey. And then he started adding, there's Dean, and there's Sammy, and Joey, and Peter Lawford. I don't remember if there was anybody else really in that Rat Pack, but that's who we remember. The rest of the members of Ocean's 11, no one really remembers. They're not names except, what's his name? Henry Silva became a bad guy a lot later. And then Angie Dickinson's a very small role in this. But it's those core. And that became like a phenomenon. It's not just the movie. It was like this huge movement in culture. They're in other movies together. They're performing together. And the Rat Pack, to this day, if you mention it, people know what the fuck you're talking about. It was so influential that in the 80s, when there was a whole new group of people hanging out that were in the news or whatever, we had the Brat Pack, and then we had the Frat Pack with all of the Adam Sandler, Chris Rock, stuff like that. It's amazing the legacy that has.
It's silly for me to say this, but one, I've never heard the reference Frat Pack.
Oh, really? Okay.
Somehow, and also didn't really connect to the fact that that it was all based on this.
Yeah, it's
the Frat Pack. I don't know why. It's silly of me, but.
Yeah, this is where it's really cemented. Like I said, their group was referred to as the Rat Pack. They referred to themselves as that. And maybe the people that hung out around that area, maybe it was at a casino, I'm not sure. But it wasn't until Ocean's 11, all of a sudden, it's in the news. Everybody's talking about it. And you know me, I've gone through these phases where I'm crazy about the Rat Pack. I've had the plaques and the posters, and I'm just, something about it was so fucking cool to me. And, I've read all their biographies.
Yeah, I know you really like Dean Martin quite a bit.
I love Dean. Here's the thing. All of them exhausted themselves. And they didn't put their full effort in once 1965, 66 hit. It's just, look, if you're performing a show every night that's going until 2 a.m., you got to be up at 6 to shoot a movie. And guess what? Sometimes, like Dean Martin, he's doing a fucking movie during the day. The minute he gets off, he goes to his live variety show. He hasn't rehearsed. That has to take a toll on you. And I think they're not investing themselves in their roles. And I think that kind of hurts this movie a little bit too, because it's very lackadaisical. It's a vibe. It's not so much plot oriented like the remake is.
I feel like, I admit that I haven't seen as many movies as you have, or really delved into that whole subgenre or all that, but it seems like Dean Martin in general, that's his shtick. Like, he's a vibe.
Yeah, his is kind of like,
he's not necessarily that good of an actor. He doesn't seem like he's overly committed. He's not trying all that hard, but he obviously has talent, but he's not like the hardest working man in Hollywood.
I will say this, his performance in Airport, which is his most successful film, is really good. It's a straight up drama. He needed to be committed or it wasn't going to work. And Frank Sinatra does a really good World War II movie, I think it's 65, called None But the Brave, which I think he directed. And that might be his best movie besides Manchurian Candidate. And other than that, though, a lot of these guys just showed up. They may not even known the script. And you're talking about a fucking movie with millions of dollars invested. And you get the feeling, oh, they have no idea what's going on. They're just kind of winging it.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about this, but I don't love this movie. I think that it's just way too slow for me. But I think that might be because of how Hollywood has progressed and how movies are made and what we expect of them and all that stuff. But I think that the development is kind of weak, but also real slow.
Yeah. Well, and also the heist is not complicated. It really is not. But it's also, I looked this up. This is one of the very first heist movies like this, where look, there's film noirs where people will steal a big bag of money from a mobster or something like that. There's a bunch of those. But I'm talking about a group of people getting together to plan a heist. You have To Catch a Thief. A little bit is like that, but this is, of the genre that we fucking love, that makes tons of money, that has huge following, this is it. This is ground zero. This is the ensemble heist where it's supposed to be like a layered, complicated thing with a huge cast. You do not have Now You See Me, Now You Don't. You don't have The Italian Job. You don't have all those.
Absolutely. No, yeah. You're right. I understand that completely.
So, well, I will say, this is for me a vibe. It is not plot heavy. It is a little bit slower. It's more about just hanging out with these guys while they plan this. I felt like it was necessary to discuss this because the rest of what we discussed on the show before, and of course the earlier episodes, none of this really happens without Ocean's 11 being such a big hit.
No, that makes sense. It's sort of like, how Scream was so vital to the horror genre changing in the 90s.
Yeah. So if you look, so it wasn't just Ocean's 11. I had a whole set. So it's called the Rat Pack set, and it was really nice. It came with a little dice and a card set that had Rat Pack on it and little cards from the shoot. But it came with it's this 4 for Texas with Dean and Frank, and Sammy does a very small supporting role. Sergeants 3 with all of them. Yeah, the main Rat Pack. There's Robin and the Seven Hoods. That's the only.
That's the one I remember.
Yeah, that's legitimately the only good one of the bunch. It's a full-on musical, and the plot's really engaging. Everybody is just fully there for the movie. I wish Ocean's 11 had actually been a musical. It's very strange that all of a sudden Sammy out of nowhere just sings EO 11, which you'll hear 9,000 times in one way or another in this. But he doesn't sing it as.
You know what song's been stuck in my head for 2 weeks?
Kick in the Head?
One Guess.
Oh, EO 11.
Absolutely.
Isn't that strange that he breaks out in a real musical number, but then the rest of the music is just Dean in the lounge singing some of his songs? I wish they had gone full bore and made this a heist musical.
True. What is EO 11 referencing?
I have no idea, and why is he even singing it? EO 11.
Thank you. Yeah. Because I'm just why is this song in my head forever? I don't even know what it's talking about, and why do you sing it? Okay, cool.
And it's so funny is not only is it a timepiece of all the businesses that were gone, were any of these casinos still around when we went?
Oh, I don't think so, but I have to look at the list again of what they were.
I'm gonna imagine they were downtown if it was, but I feel like all of them got blown up, and in these megalopolises of casinos where
Oh yeah,
you have
I
to.
mean, hardly anything remains.
Yeah.
It's really quite sad.
I actually have to
Even
tell you,
the
I know Vegas isn't that big, but I was terrified of losing you guys. Like it's so
oh,
twisty
well,
turny.
it's a lot going on there.
Yeah, there's like a million people, and this was in January, and just trying to find your way through a casino to another casino, because how dare you step outside? Um, I mean, yes, it gets hot, but I was like, holy shit! If I don't keep an eye on you guys, I don't know where the fuck you are.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's really easy to do because pretty confusing,
Yeah,
honestly. So,
but
and
back
I was
then,
trying to find the list. Oh, here the casinos hit in the heist are Hotel Flamingo, the Sands, the Desert Inn, the Riviera, and the Sahara.
I feel like the
I
Sahara was
don't.
still around, wasn't it?
So as of 2021, only the Flamingo and Sahara are still in business, but
Okay.
4 years later, I'm not sure if that's true or not.
Yeah, but we went in 2012, so those two were still around. Yeah, it's so funny if you go there, the vibe, like there's the main strip downtown, which feels old school and cool. But then you go to the new stuff, and it's like, oh my god, that's too much, which makes me appreciate this movie more. It is a timepiece, and it's not just of the casinos themselves; it's how the casino was run, and that's why the heist seems so low stakes. Is because they don't have laser, they don't have pressure, sound oriented kind of stuff. They don't have really any cameras. It's just dudes, and all you have to do is distract them for a second, and I mean, you can get in and out of a room. So it's kind of quaint and kind of cute how easy it is.
Yeah, it is super interesting how, unfortunately, a lot of this stuff, is dated because of how things have changed. But you're right. It does, it represents a moment in time,
Yeah.
that is interesting. You know what? The Flamingo and the Sahara do still exist.
Oh
Okay.
wow, cool. The there's nothing else I really want to say except for the ending is. I mean, if you haven't seen it, I mean, come on, it's been 60 years or something like that. It is a gut punch. I did not expect, and that's such a downer ending for a big blockbuster film in the 60s. But they are committing crimes. They are technically bad guys.
Yeah, I mean, not that I wanted that to happen, but ultimately, like, I wasn't expecting it, and that made it worth it made it worth the commitment for me because I was just like, I like a good surprise. Okay, like, am I happy that happened to them? I don't know. Like, they shot, they shoot their shot. It didn't work out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they accomplished the heist. That's the big thrill of it all. And I think someone said that. Why are you doing this? For the thrill of it. For the adventure.
Yeah. Well, then they are winners. I mean, I don't think that they didn't lose anything really because none of them like got caught. They're not going to jail, so they didn't get the money. But there's, I think that it all still ended up okay.
Yeah. And the remake is like this is how you do a remake. You look for the flaws in something with potential and you fix those flaws. That's how a remake. You're not supposed to remake a classic that really works. It makes no sense to me why they do that. Because it's sellable. Well, there's a lot of hit movies that made mistakes. Like Revenge of the Nerds, when they were remaking that, they canceled it, and I always wondered why, because there are some seriously fucked up things in the original, even though I still love it. But
I know we have revisited that conversation many times. It has many problems.
But Ocean's 11, they decide, hey, you know what? First off, we're gonna get like one of the greatest casts of all time, even though not everybody was a name just yet. Bernie Mac, I don't believe was really in anything at the time, and Casey and Scott Conn, they weren't really that established yet.
And I mean, even freaking Matt Damon was like still like coming up.
Right. He had not got Bourne Identity yet. And remember, he was not supposed to get this movie. It was lined up for Mark Wahlberg. Mark Wahlberg.
Oh, I'm really, really glad it wasn't Mark Wahlberg. I mean, I don't dislike him, but he's, kind of smug. And there's just, seem to not be kind of smug in every movie.
Yeah, well, if you remember, for years, he was doing his Boogie Nights persona, the shy, awkward kid. And I think that's how they were going to play it in this. You see a few moments where Matt Damon plays it like I think the way that Wahlberg would have done it. But of course, he went to do Planet of the Apes, and whatever. He made a shitload of money. It wasn't much loved, but this is right before Matt Damon gets Bourne Identity. And I remember thinking, God damn it, they are really forcing Affleck and Matt Damon on us, trying to make them stars when they're clearly never going to be stars. Boy, was I wrong. And then, of course, you have Brad Pitt and Clooney and Julia Roberts being the big ones. And what I like is that they filled it out with up-and-comers, established actors that maybe hadn't been used properly in some time. I mean, Elliot Gould.
I know, I don't know that I ever knew who Elliot Gould was before this, even though he'd been acting for, decades.
And then, of course, Carl Reiner had been established for a long time, but he hadn't acted in a while. He'd mostly been directing. And Soderbergh was red hot at this moment. You're talking not 2 years. I think it was literally the year before, where he is coming off of not only Traffic, but Aaron Brockovich. And you're talking award-nominated, a couple award-winning films. Who wouldn't want to work with? First off, you look at the cast, you're like, fuck yeah. 2, Ocean's 11, that sounds cool. And Soderbergh. He's going to get pretty much anybody he wants. And I believe this is the first production he and Clooney did. And they worked together for years. So prolific.
Wait, didn't Soderbergh have anything to do with Out of Sight?
He did, but him and Clooney didn't produce that together. They form a company after this. And they get so many things.
I didn't know what you meant when you said, the first time they worked together.
Yeah. And then I think later Clooney went off with Grant Hesloff and did a whole bunch of stuff. But it's just really interesting. Like, it's such an audience pleaser. Of course, it was a massive hit, but usually those Christmas movies that appeal to everybody are also toothless. They're generic. And I never understand later, like, why they were so popular. Miss Congeniality, analyze this. But I get it. Ocean's 11 is absolutely fucking crackerjack. Everybody is on their A game. It's basically like trying to get him to compete against each other. And what is it? Brad Pitt was famous for always eating something in the scenes to get people's attention, which is a classic thing that Steve McQueen did during Magnificent Seven.
Isn't that like a Downey thing too?
Who? Oh, Robert Downey
Jr.
Maybe. I'm not sure. I don't think I've ever noticed that before. He moves his hands a lot so it is a distracting method. But I'm pretty
sure he eats all the time. They pointed out in like all the Marvel movies.
Really? I gotta go back and rewatch that then.
He's got food hidden all over the sets, they say.
That's funny.
Anyway.
But yeah, it's really like just this top of the line. I mean, they're competing at this point with 100 other heist comedies. And so they really have to like come up with a plan that's very intricate. I mean, we're talking post Mission Impossible, and that was kind of a topper at that time, that first one, of the coolest heist, the most complicated, sweat-inducing kind of thing you'd ever seen on film. And I think this movie did it very, very well.
Yeah, I just, I think that, like you said, they pull some of the things or pay attention to the things that didn't work that great in the original. Like, I love in this one the building of the team and why.
Yeah. And I love that the villain matters. Andy Garcia is compelling in this movie because if you watch him, he doesn't trust anything or anyone at any time. Nothing come out of anybody. He isn't side-eyeing and kind of analyzing, either with words or with looks. Is this real? Is this bullshit?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, people don't talk about him very much. I think he's a really great actor that for whatever reason, as a leading man, it just didn't work. He did quite a few films as a leading man, and then finally, like, look, maybe you should step back and be a support, which is working better for him, I think.
Yeah, you know what? Sometimes I don't really always know why stuff like that happens, but I guess if you kind of just accept it and don't try to force it,
Yeah.
it's gonna be more. It's gonna be better for everybody.
Was it it worked for Alec Baldwin. The minute it started drying up for him as a lead, they knew to reposition him as not only as a support, but as a funny support.
Yeah, true.
Some guys just have it, some guys don't. And I don't know why or what it is. Where I think a lot of it's the projects, because Garcia clearly has the charisma to be a leading man, but just never got the right movies. And Julia is only in this for a little bit, so it's not misleading. She is maybe 20 minutes of screen time at most, but it's extremely pivotal to driving the point.
Plus, it kind of just establishes her for future.
Yeah. Yeah, she does become more important. I feel like I should go revisit the other ones and finally watch Ocean's 8 to see how it all plays out. Because am I wrong? Isn't it like the second one where Andy Garcia gets revenge on all of them for taking the money? He figures it out.
I'm pretty sure the second one, but again, I haven't seen any other ones for so long.
And I feel like in the third one that they team up all of them, even with Andy Garcia on the team, and they take on Al Pacino.
I guess it says he's in all of them. So
okay, huh? I
guess clearly we need to revisit.
Yeah. Nothing else I really want to say, but obviously, if you're going for like just a chill retro vibe, then you go with the first one. But that second one, my God, it moves like a freight train, and everything lines up. Everything works. There's no false moments. There's nothing like, oh, we're just gonna do this just to get the plot moving. No, everything is very thought out and planned meticulously.
Yeah, I really like how you don't really doubt that they're gonna succeed, but you still have no fucking clue how.
Yeah.
And you're still, even though you think that you understand what's happening, it's so intricate that you still get surprised also, which I really appreciate.
There is one flaw in their plan that bugged me to no end. When Scott Conn and Casey Affleck leave their uniforms on the floor in the elevator. And I was like, someone else is going to see that and say something. Hey, guys, what's up with this? We have a camera in here. Who came in and out? I would have stuffed it up in the top, the open piece of the elevator.
Yeah, I don't really know. Yes, I thought the same thing when I saw that. Like it seemed like it was a focal point for a reason, and then nothing. It didn't quite make sense to me either.
Yeah. All right, well, that is it for this episode. Thank you very much, Mindy.
I wanted to say one more thing.
Oh, sure, go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's okay. It's not important. It's just I think it's funny how the movie kind of starts with him, teaching poker to all those ding dong.
Oh yeah.
WB teen stars, which is just sort of funny because I feel like that might date it and nothing else really does.
Let me try to remember. So it's Topher, Joshua Jackson, Barry Watson, Shane West, Holly Marie Combs from Charmed. Is that it?
Yeah.
I feel like there's another one.
I feel like there was one more that's wasn't very well known. He was not a super successful.
Yeah.
Who was that?
But yeah, that is a little bit of a timepiece right there. But the thing is that most of them are still relevant actors now, so it's kind of funny.
Oh, for sure. I think I saw, Joshua Jackson is really kind of hitting a new stride as, this older, seasoned version of him now.
Yeah.
That's getting a lot of attention. And I feel like it's his third or fourth reinvention, But he's just, I think I had seen him talking about that recently and how it just felt like such a huge moment for him at that age to be like hanging with Brad Pitt.
Yeah, no, because otherwise it seems like a WB event instead of an actual.
Yeah, no, I think he got all of them. Shane West, Barry Watson. Yeah, I think he did.
Okay. All right. Anything else you want to say before we go?
No, not really.
Do you ever take notes before the episode? I never do, and some of my co-hosts do, and I'm like, oh, you prepared, shit.
I hear people when they do the other people that do podcasts write like actual scripts and stuff, and I'm never gonna be like that. Like
Yeah.
I always make sure to watch movies really right before we talk about it within a couple weeks to have it fresh in my mind. But I just don't think I ever want to be that kind of person because I want it. I mean, it may not be the greatest podcast you ever heard, but I'd rather it just be natural,
Yeah, that's what I was telling somebody today is, look, I've been at this for 12 years. I have no editor. I only cut stuff if it's absolutely necessary. I don't have like a polished machine. I don't have a studio. And I like it.
We don't really talk ad nauseum about stuff. I mean, once in a while we get off topic, but
yeah. Well, also, I don't understand how anybody can do it. A conversation about a movie that's as long as the fucking movie. That's really weird to me. I just can't do it. So ours is still, after all these years, I still feel authentic punk rock podcasting, I guess, if you want to call it, raw and real.
Mm-hmm. And not to, just one other thing, I guess, about the movie is kudos to Julia Roberts for, holding her own as literally the only woman in this whole cast of big time dudes.
Yeah. Well, and that Angie Dickinson did in the first one, but she doesn't get much to work with, where Julia got a much beefier role.
It was 2 phone calls, and it was just I didn't even realize who it wasn't for most of the film, so it didn't really do much for her. So anyway, right. Yes, we're gonna keep being au naturel, y'all. It might be slightly stinky once in a while, but it is what it is.
All right, everybody. So keeping it raw and real, and this episode was brought to you by Squatty Potty. How do people fucking do that? They're like, yeah, man, we're the Punk Rocker Podcasting. First, a message from this thing that's so fucking lame and corporate. I mean, it'd be
if you could if somebody asked you or offered you a sponsorship deal and you actually made money for your podcast after 12 years, I think you might consider it.
If it was something that was legit, I don't want to
be. Yeah, I mean, fair enough.
Yeah, I want to make sure that I always keep my soul clean. I'd rather be poor than do something like that. But if anybody wants to, hey, Subway.
Anyway, my integrity has a very, very high paycheck.
Oh, free cookies! Thank you. All right, that is it, everybody.
Cookies.
All right, bye, everybody.